So, you want to be a content creator, but you think you can't because it's too expensive. Well, think again. Today, I'm going to show you how you could be a content creator slash filmmaker with your phone and some other accessories. Let's get started. So you might be wondering, Face, how can you shoot good quality video on your phone? It's going to look kind of like not that good, but you'd be surprised. 3.5 of our videos were shot and completely edited on phone. Links in the description so you can see that quality. And I would say for what you get out of shooting on your phone, it came out pretty well. And that's kind of the idea, right? You're starting out, you don't need it to be perfect, but you need it to fit your needs, and that's what this whole setup is all about. So let me start by saying that this is not an end-all be-all kit, and some of these things will and won't apply to you depending on what your needs are. But for the most part, it's gonna cover just about everything that you need to get started. So first, let's break down the parts. So first, you're gonna need this mini tripod and accessories, this diffusion umbrella, this ND filter with a clip, this Andy Cine mic, which at the time of filming is currently sold out, so I will list an alternative just in case it's not in stock by the time you want to get something. LumaFusion, of course, a pack of cold shoes, these light stands, this Neewer tripod, these light brackets, this Neewer CN160, which is going to be the smaller light of the two, but it's pretty powerful, you'll see. This Neewer 480 light, which will serve as your key light, and we'll explain how that all goes in a minute. Filmic Pro, which is how filming with your phone is going to work, and we'll get to that in just a moment. And the Ulanzi Cage, which is going to be the best way to get like extra steady shots if your phone doesn't have like the best stabilization, but if it has good stabilization, then it's going to be amazing. So right here, we got the phone rigged up and ready to go. You got your ND filter for controlling exposure when you're outside. You got the mic for, capturing audio. You got your cage for that super steady motion when you're filming, and then you've got the phone, which is the heart of this. So now I'm going to switch out my main camera for this camera and change the lights out for the lights in the kit so you can see what this looks like in this kind of environment. So, now we're shooting on the iPhone camera. Right here I've got the Neewer 480 as my light, which I did before, but I just set it differently because I've got the CN160 right there, and I'm a genius and lost the CTO filter. So the light would have this thing on it, and it would have been orange, but I lost that some time ago. So I had to switch this to tungsten and this to daylight, but that one doesn't switch, it's daylight only. And as you can hear the audio from the Andy Cine mic, which is about 2-ish feet away from me, it could be better. The audio is pretty clear and good. So this is what it would look like if you're filming with your iPhone. Standard talking head stuff, blah blah blah, you see, it looks pretty good. Now we're going to transition to some outside shots I got so you can really get an idea of what it's like to vlog with this setup.
This is a test of the front-facing camera. So on my particular phone, the iPhone XS Max, it can only record at 1080p. That's the front-facing camera, by the way, just to make sure you know. And it's not bad. It actually looks pretty good for 1080p, right? And yeah, the only problem with the front-facing camera on this particular one is that I can't control the exposure. I can only control white balance, which is not the worst thing because it's not like overly bad, but it is a bit of a gripe. Now, as you can hear from the mic quality, it's about a foot and change away, and it sounds pretty great. I know it does. I already had to film something else, and there's a little bit of wind. I'm using the windshield right now. Oh, that's a truck passing by.
Surprise, motherfucker.
And yeah, the audio is good, the video quality is good, and frankly for vlogging, this is like a perfect setup right here. Right now all I'm using is the mounting bracket from the mini tripod and the mic. And also, the dongle, because it's an iPhone. It's dongle city. Otherwise, it's a solid vlogging experience. Now I'm testing the back camera, which I know works pretty well because, for one thing, you can control the exposure, the white balance, and also the autofocus point, but you can't do that on the front-facing camera, the autofocus point, that is. So yeah, I know the mic quality is good, just like the front-facing camera, and I know that the stabilization on the back camera is fantastic for a phone. It's crazy how phone stabilization autofocus is better than camera stabilization autofocus. Weird. But yeah, I think a lot of people could really like enjoy this setup. And I think I've filmed enough because vlogging life is not my life. Although, who knows, maybe I might do some in the future. But now, back to the review.
All right, we're back on the main camera, and as you saw, that footage is pretty nice, right? So now we're going to talk about the two apps that really make this whole setup work. Those two apps being LumaFusion, which I briefly talked about in my iPad Pro video, link right here, and Filmic Pro. So, Filmic Pro is the app that gives you full control over your phone's camera, which is pretty useful because generally your phone's camera does whatever it wants to get a usable image, such as cranking the ISO, shutter speed, or aperture. Though Filmic Pro sometimes cranks the aperture, though it's not in an offensive way like the phone's camera normally does. And that brings me to LumaFusion, which is a very powerful mobile editing app. It has a lot of features that no other mobile editing app has, and it almost rivals desktop editing apps, such as DaVinci Resolve, iMovie on Mac, Final Cut, all that. It's not nearly as fully fledged as them, don't get me wrong, but it's very capable and it will serve you well.
Hi, it's me. I forgot to film this, so bam. Camera. Not a camera. That's a phone. Camera. Light. Light. That's an umbrella for making the light cool. That's a light. Second light. Yes.
So, the overall total of the kit is about $450, which is pretty great. That's barring the cost of your phone, of course. But that comes with everything you need to get started. So, yeah, you'll have room to grow. And honestly, depending on the content you make, you may or may not need all that. Because frankly, all you might really need is the cage, the mini tripod, the mic, your phone, of course, and LumaFusion and Filmic Pro, and then you're kind of good to go. Alright, I hope this video is helpful in helping you start your phone filmmaking journey, or better yet, just helping you make better videos on your phone in general. So that's going to do it for us today. It's me, The Face, as always. If you liked what you saw here, make sure you leave a like and get subscribed, and also, totally click that bell, whichever side it's on. I think that one, yeah, right there. Make sure you click that bell. Get notified when we post, because, we're always posting good stuff here. It's not like we totally missed a week or anything. So yeah, we'll be seeing you next week with something pretty special.